Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome to the Piper Report, and welcome to the Weekly Crap Recap for May 21st, I think? May 21st to May 27th. I did miss last week's. I was out of town. I got home pretty late. I didn't feel like going back and making one, so yeah, just deal with it. But I got 4 articles for you today, and they're quite amusing. So here's the first one. We can't hide behind a wall. Obama preaches tolerance with German Chancellor Merkel defends international border. Let's see what happens here. Only hours before German Chancellor Angela Merkel met with President Trump at NATO summit, former President Obama told a crowd of tens of thousands to fight against bigotry and intolerance and praised the leadership of Merkel, according to Bloomberg. That's really interesting, the very first paragraph, because you should accept bigotry and intolerance, yet didn't Germany's crime rate go up 96% since they started accepting what they say or fighting it back against bigotry and intolerance? The more you try to placate those, you try to placate the Syrian refugees, you try to placate those who say they have a tough life in another area, the more your country becomes damaged and the more your own citizens get attacked and get raped and get assaulted. Germany's crime is up 96% since they started accepting the Syrian refugees. 96%. Sweden is now the rape capital of the world. By 2030, the Swedish people will no longer be the majority in their own country. So is accepting people to fight against bigotry and intolerance really helping in the end? Or is it actually making your own citizens suffer? That's the real question here. At his first public event with foreign leaders since leaving office, Obama shared the stage at a Lutheran church rally at Brandenburg Gate in Berlin with Merkel, as reported by Bloomberg. Together, they spoke of refugees and conflicts in the Arab world. Obama defended the Affordable Care Act, his signature domestic achievement. Obviously, some of the progress that we made is imperiling because there is still significant debate taking place in the United States, he said. Though Obama noted that it did not insure all Americans, it did help an overwhelming amount of citizens. For those 20 million people, their lives have been better, he said, and we set a standard of what's possible that people can build on. Okay, let's dissect that a little bit. It's true that Obamacare did give insurance to people that could not afford it. So millions more people did get insurance. However, here's a big problem with this. It also hurt many of those, myself included, that have insurance by making it nearly impossible to use. I have a healthcare plan under Obamacare that I have to pay the first $7,500 deductible. So I can't go to an ER. If my appendix bursts, I already got my appendix removed. If I need surgery all of a sudden, I have to go to the ER. I have to wait. Because I cannot afford it. So you may have helped millions of people get health insurance, but I can guarantee you that there are millions of people like me that can't use their insurance to the best ability because they can't afford it. So you think you help others, but you're hurting the ones that already have it. So really, it's just canceling each other out. It's a washout. So I know you like to say, well, more people have health insurance. Yes, but those that have health insurance had to get it because if not, they got penalized. And the insurance they got doesn't help them because they can't afford it anyways. And this is getting worse and worse every single year. And that is why, when it comes down to it, the ACA was a failure. Just because more people got insurance doesn't mean that it's better healthcare overall, because it's not. You lost your doctor you wanted. Your premiums went up. Your deductibles are sky high. And it's getting worse every single year. More insurance companies are opting out. Obamacare was and is a failure. It's that simple. Obama said that the international order is at a crossroads, and it's vital to push back against recent populist trends. There's a competing narrative of fear and xenophobia and nationalism and intolerance and anti-democratic trends, Obama said, a remark that was greeted by applause, according to Bloomberg. We have to push back against those trends that would violate human rights or suppress democracy or that would restrict individual freedoms and conscience of religion. We can't hide behind a wall, he added. Yes, we have to do what Obama says. Although there's rampant terrorism in the world, although the UK recently suffered a terrorist attack, we should keep allowing in Muslim migrants from areas that have high amounts of terrorism. Even if our people, our women are being raped, even if our men are being assaulted, and our women being assaulted, even though the crime is increasing dramatically in all countries that accept the Syrian refugees, we should still accept them because it is the right thing to do for them. We should make them happy. We should placate their needs and desires. And for the time being, let's just ignore all of our citizens. Let's help others. Let's be altruistic about others, but not altruistic about our own citizens. Great idea, Obama. Let's see how that works out. Obama also hit a few notes on human rights and tolerance of all people. A child on the other side of the border is no less worthy of love and compassion than my own child. We can't distinguish between them in terms of their worth and their inherent dignity, he said. Obama said that this was not an easy task, and that though nations have finite resources, they are still obliged to express humanity and compassion and solidarity with those in need. Okay. First, wasn't Obama who actually deported more Mexican families or illegal immigrant families than Bush? So he's changing his tune once again. Our savior Obama is preaching love and acceptance, yet being a hypocrite because he did the opposite. Yes, very good, Obama, very good. I'm sure this article, I don't know who's this, oh yeah, Solano say. This has to be a really hardcore left-wing news article to praise him this much, and that makes sense here. Second article. The world literally laughed at Trump as NATO leaders rolled their eyes during his speech. Uh-oh. Here's a lovely picture. Yeah, let's smirk. Trump has turned the U.S. presidency into such a joke that NATO leaders were laughing at him during his speech. Here was Trump thinking that was the big man who was going to lecture NATO. Oh, whatever that means. Trump told the allies that they were unfair. Here's what Trump said. These grave security concerns are the same reason that I have been very, very direct with Secretary Stoltenberg and members of the alliance in saying that NATO members must finally contribute their fair share and meet their financial obligations. For 23 of the 28 member nations are still not paying what they should be paying and what they're supposed to be paying for their defense. This is not fair to the people and taxpayers of the U.S., and many of these nations owe massive amounts of money from past years and not paying in those past years. Over the last 8 years, the U.S. spent more on defense than all other NATO countries combined. If all NATO members had spent just 2% of their GDP on defense last year, we would have had another $119 billion for our collective defense and for the financing of additional NATO reserves. We should recognize that with these chronic underpayments and growing threats, even 2% of GDP is insufficient to close the gaps in modernizing, readiness, and the size of forces. We have to make up for the many years lost. 2% is the bare minimum for confronting today's very real and very vicious threats. If NATO countries made their full and complete contributions, then NATO would be even stronger than it is today, especially from the threat of terrorism. Here was NATO's reaction. Yes, it's so funny, right? So the U.S. keeps getting screwed by the NATO alliance by paying its fair share, more than its fair share, by paying more than all other NATO countries combined. And let's laugh at it, because they're so used to Obama acquiescing to everything they wanted. Obama said, you know what, you guys take a break. We will fund it. When I'm president, we will fund everything in NATO. Don't you worry. I will make sure that you guys get the benefit of the doubt and we get stuck with the bill, because that's who we are. We are the world police. We care about the world so much that we will cover the cost of everything. Just sit back and laugh. And then when Trump comes in, he wants to change things up, then all of a sudden they smirk and they joke and they look at each other. Funny. Right. You know what? Trump should do this. This is good. Really, we should back out of NATO. The NATO members were laughing because, instead of reaffirming this core commitment, Trump lectured NATO about spending more on defense. Yes, he should. Did you not hear how much we spend compared to other nations? 5. He's right, they should, and they are. 23 countries increased defense spending last year. 8 countries will spend 2% on military next year. Okay, so 23 increased defense spending, yet none of them, appears, have hit the 2% threshold, except for 5 of them. And one of them is Greece, for God's sakes. 2% threshold should be the bare minimum. And this guy right here just admitted that they're laughing because none of them are actually paying 2%. 8 countries will next year, but not this year, not last year. So yes, it is pretty funny, Mr. Ivo Dalder. The world is laughing at Trump and treating him like a clueless Putin stooge. Oh, there it was. That's where you lose all credibility when you bring up the whole Russia narrative Putin stooge card. There's nothing wrong with wanting globalized peace, with wanting world peace and a lack of war. I don't know why, by wanting to work with China and working with Russia makes you a stooge for Russia and a stooge for China. It doesn't make sense to me. How is world peace a laughing matter now? Why is world peace all of a sudden a wrong thing to try to achieve? Where the hell has our country gone where we laugh at this now? We make this as a joke, that if you want world peace, you are a stooge for those that don't believe in your beliefs, that don't follow your ideologies. It's laughable. It's laughable. Let's see, who? Ivo Dalder. Let me see who that is. Yeah, kind of looks like a joke. Alright, another one. Trump has dealt another defeat on travel ban as U.S. appeals court in Virginia blocks enforcement. Yes, this one I did an article on a few days back, and this is so true again. These judges are so bad. So bad. Trump suffered another legal defeat Thursday when the U.S. appeals court in Virginia ruled his foreign travel ban may not be enforced on the grounds that it appears to discriminate based on religion, and that the administration's argument that the order was needed to protect national security was a pretext offered in bad faith. What they mean by that is that since Donald Trump during the election said he wants a ban on all Muslims entering the country, that all subsequent policy decisions he makes are based on that pretext. That his end goal is to want to ban all Muslims. It has nothing to do with what the order actually says. The law is supposed to determine what is federal statute. You're supposed to use what is precedent and what is right and wrong based on the law in front of you. So if you sign legislation or you write an executive order, they are supposed to use that and compare that to past law. Compare that to precedent and see if that violates federal statutes. They're not doing that. They're not doing that because the executive order that he wrote and signed does not say this is a Muslim ban, but they are saying his past words makes it a Muslim ban. Even on the first order they denied, they use what was I going to say now? They use Rudy Giuliani's words to violate or to block his first travel ban. So Rudy Giuliani actually, I got lost now. Oh yeah, during the election, Rudy Giuliani also said some stuff that would be questionable. I can't remember exactly what he said, but I know that the very first judge that neglected Donald Trump's first travel order, he used that as the basis to say it's a Muslim ban. Just like they're using Donald Trump's campaign rhetoric to say this is a Muslim ban. Yet, they neglect the fact that out of the 50 Muslim countries there are, this only temporarily restricts 6 of them. Not even 10% of the Muslim population. But is it really Donald Trump's fault if the countries he wants to restrict from coming in easily are Muslim majority nations? I'll show you why. Let's look at the Muslim Terrorist Index, the Global Terrorism Index. Let's see what the top 5 countries are, shall we? So on a scale of 1 to 10, they rank countries by their amount of terrorism. Let's look at the 5. Number 1, with a 10 out of 10 rating. That's really a high amount of terrorism. Come on, ads. Iraq. Afghanistan. Nigeria. With Nigeria, too, that is 45% Muslims and about 55% Christians. However, what they don't tell you about that is that 80% of the terrorist crimes are from Muslim majority nations. from primarily Boko Haram and then Fuhadi militants. Number 4, Pakistan, 9.07. Number 5, Syria, 8.11. So the top 5 most terrorism in countries are 4 of them are predominantly dominated by Muslims. And Nigeria is about half and half Muslim and Christians, yet the majority of terrorist attacks are Muslims. So how can Donald Trump stop terrorist countries from coming into America and at the same time not get it done because they say it's a ban on Muslims? If you look, all the countries that have the highest amount of terrorism are Muslim majority nations. That's not Trump's fault. It's not like he's picking out specifically Muslim countries and targeting them. No, it's all right here. All right here. Top 5, Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Syria, Nigeria. It's a joke. It's a joke. The 10-3 decision from the 4th Circuit Court kept in place nationwide orders from 2 district judges that had blocked the president's revised decree. His order aimed to restrict new immigrants and travelers from 6 majority Muslim nations. At least they're saying it right. Restrict, not ban, restrict. All 10 judges in the majority were Democratic appointees. Ah, yes, of course. The 3 Republican appointees dissented. Although the decision was another sweeping defeat for the president and his lawyers, it clears the way for them to take the issue to the Supreme Court, where a conservative majority gives them a better chance of prevailing. Well, I wouldn't say that exactly. I think it'd be more than just all the conservative majority on the Supreme Court. I think you will probably get some liberal viewpoints on this, because it is true. It is true. This goes word for word by what is offered in the U.S. Constitution to the president. The president has control on who enters the country. It's right there. They're just mad that it's Donald Trump making that decision and not Hillary Clinton making that decision. It should also be noticed now, this is going to go to the 9th District Court, which is primarily federal progressives and Democrats. So they will rule against Trump. However, 8 out of 10 9th District decisions are overturned by the Supreme Court. So 80% of the 9th Circuit Court is overturned. So 9th Circuit Court will vote it down. Supreme Court will most likely vote it up. So it's going to happen, but it's going to take a bit to get there. And finally, Hillary Clinton attacks Donald Trump at Wellesley College graduation. And she's back. Why can't she just go back to her lagoon or something? Seriously. I don't know. Ugh. People think she's a hero, for God's sakes. They really think she's a hero. Hillary Clinton returned to her alma mater, Wellesley College, Friday to deliver a fiery commencement address that attacked President Donald Trump and his policies. But it was her implicit comparisons between Nixon's resignation and the current administration that drew the loudest cheers. Clinton lashed out when she described as the unimaginable cruelty of Trump's budget proposal and the perseverance of conspiracy theories and internet trolls. Internet trolls. You know what Hillary Clinton did to Bernie Sanders? Hillary Clinton's campaign hired 1 million people to troll Bernie Sanders on YouTube and social media to try to argue for Hillary against Bernie Sanders. She literally hired trolls. So now she is denouncing trolls, yet she literally did something unprecedented and hired trolls to try to destroy Bernie Sanders and his campaign. Yeah, okay, Hillary. But when she talked about her mood on campus in 1969, the year she graduated, she got her biggest reception. We were furious about the past presidential election of a man whose presidency would eventually end in disgrace with impeachment for obstruction of justice. Is she talking about her husband? No. Nixon, I guess. After firing the person running the investigation into him at the Department of Justice, she said. But here's what I want you to know. We got through that tumultuous time. Yes, we also got through Bill Clinton, which was very hard. We also got through Bush, which was also hard. We also got through Obama, which was very, very hard, since he himself said he was going to fundamentally change America. And all you people who hate Donald Trump, you will get through Donald Trump as well. This is not the end of the world like the media tries to tell you. There's not going to be nuclear war next week because Donald Trump had a bad speech overseas. They want to use this type of scenario, these type of activities that Donald Trump does as the basis to say he is clinically insane and he's going to blow us all up or kill us all. He's going to go to war with everybody. That's not true. That's not true at all. Hillary is the war hawk. We know Hillary's a war hawk because she wanted to actually get U.S. influence in the South China Sea. Essentially, bomb China to get the South China Sea under our control. Clinton was referring to President Richard Nixon, who left office after resigning while facing the threat of impeachment in August 1974. The FBI is currently probing whether Trump associates coordinated with the Russian campaign to interfere with the 2006 presidential contest. Trump fired Comey, who was heading up the investigation earlier this month. Well, since Comey already said there was no collusion between Trump and Putin, or Trump and Russia, you're not going to find anything here. It's important that we also focus on Seth Rich, though, because what a bigger scandal would be, not Trump and Russia, but Seth Rich being murdered for exposing Hillary Clinton and John Podesta and the DNC and their secrets. That is a far, far bigger scandal. The steady rain and overcast skies didn't dampen the spirits of graduating class of 2017, who greeted the former Secretary of State and graduate with a long, loud ovation. While her speech frequently needled her former rival and criticized the divisive political climate, Clinton also urged students to stand up for their values and above all the truth. No way. This is not true. You are graduating at a time when there is a full-fledged assault on truth and reason. Come on, Hillary. Come on. You can't really think people believe that, do you? You are literally the queen of lies. Everything you say is a lie. You were even asked a question during an interview. Do you promise to be honest with the American people? I will try to be, she says. Right there. I can't tell you for sure if I will lie to them or not. She is a compulsive liar. That's all she does is lie. She never takes blame for her own actions. She's immature because she doesn't accept responsibility. Her loss wasn't because of her poor campaign. It wasn't because she didn't campaign in Wisconsin, in Michigan, in Pennsylvania. No. It was because of James Comey. It was because of right-wing racism. It was because of misogyny. It was because of this, because of that, because of Russia. She never accepts responsibility, and people want to praise her as a hero? Want to praise her as a brave woman? Seriously? Do you listen to her? Someone who is mature, someone who is brave, takes responsibility for their own actions. They don't use a scapegoat. They don't blame it on others. They accept responsibility because it was their decision to do what they did. No one had influence over her. No one had influence over her campaign. No one told her to work with Donna Brazile to get the questions in advance. No one told her to work with Debbie Wasserman Schultz to screw over Bernie Sanders. No one told her to invite all the major media organizations, except for Fox News, to her hotel to have a party to discuss things with them. No one told her to collude with those in the media to try to beat Trump. No, she did it herself, and she got caught at it. She got caught, she got exposed for the fraud she is, for the liar she is, and she lost because of it. And now, she wants to blame her loss on deep-seated racism, on misogyny, on right-wing propaganda, on Russia. Hillary, grow up. Seriously, you're 7 years old. It's really time to act like it. You're old enough to know better. You should know better. You're a child deep at heart. Alright, where was I? The future of America depends on brave, thoughtful people insisting on truth and integrity right now, every day. You didn't create these circumstances, but you had the power to change them. She had words of encouragement for the women about to enter the next phase of their lives, telling them, don't let anyone tell you your voice doesn't matter. In the years to come, there will be trolls galore online and in person, eager to tell you don't have anything worthwhile to say or anything meaningful to contribute. They may even call you a nasty woman. I'm a nasty woman, she said, referring to an insult Trump hurled at her during one of her presidential debates. Wow. Some may take a slightly more sophisticated approach and say your elite education means you are out of touch with real people. In other words, sit down and shut up. Now, in my experience, that's the last thing you should ever tell a Wellesley graduate. Ha ha ha. Wow. Do people actually believe this crap? Do people actually believe the crap's coming out of her mouth that she means any of this? That she tells women not to stand down? Then she calls women liars? This is a joke. She's a joke. How can you people like her? How can you people idolize her? I look at her and I laugh. I look at her and I see a scared, desperate person trying to come to grips with her loss of the election, with her own sanity, by blaming others for her own mistakes. I see an immature brat. That's all I see. I don't see anything good about her at all. Anything good about her at all. She is a horrible human being. She is. We know she is. She takes money from countries that abuse women and women's rights, yet she praises women for being strong, and she encourages women to be strong. You can't have it both ways. You can't say you're for women's rights, and at the same time take money from countries that abuse women's rights. You can't say you're for gay marriage and take money from countries that throw gays off of roofs. You can't do it, Hillary. You can't do it. You're a joke. The people who believe you, they just don't understand. They're brainwashed. They're brainwashed from the media. They're brainwashed into thinking you are actually a good person. That you actually give a damn about them and their lives. You don't. The truth is out there. But no one wants to do their own independent research. Nobody wants to go look things up for themselves anymore. They want things fed to them. They want things to be told to them. They want to be told what to think and what to feel and what to believe. It's no longer independent thought anymore. It's all cognitive dissonance now. Things have modulated to such a degree that we don't think clearly anymore for ourselves. We want to be told what to think and feel. Where's the independence in that? Where's the maturity in that? How do we fix that? That's the problem. We feel that for too long our leaders have viewed politics as the art of possible, she said. And the challenge now is to practice politics as the art of making what appears to be the impossible possible. Clinton told this year's graduates that she's launching the grassroots organization Onward Together to create a new generation of political activists, and despite her loss last year to Trump, Clinton still wholeheartedly believes in graduates' ability to make change. You may have heard that things didn't exactly go the way I planned, but you know what? I'm doing okay. I've gotten to spend time with my family, especially my amazing grandchildren. I was going to give the entire commencement speech about them, but was talked out of it. Long walks in the woods, organizing my closets, right? I won't lie. Charnay helped me a little too. She went on to add, "It's often during the darkest times when you can do the most good," she said. I think she's trying to quote Aristotle there. It's during our darkest times that we go towards the light. I'm very optimistic about the future because I think after we tried a lot of other things, we get back to the business of America. Hillary Clinton, you are a failed person. You are a failure, and don't try to act like you're anything else. That is the end of the Weekly Crap recap for 5/21 to 5/26, 2017. 5/21 to 5/27, 2017. And I'm done.